All right, entertaining first half from Chestnut Hill with Boston College leading Miami 17-14. And Boston College came out and they really executed on offense those first three drives with a couple touchdowns, what should have been a third touchdown, but two touchdowns and a field goal. So MarkRoger at 14-4 as a starter, taking on the BC defense, which looked stout most of the night. It did not give up any big plays. And yeah, Miami at 5-2 with only one loss in the ACC. And of course, BC comes in with one loss in the ACC at 5-2 as well. Welcome to MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, and our halftime instant analysis of Miami at Boston College. Eagles up 17-14 as the folks join the chat room. So thanks so much for joining us, and I will check the chat in just a second. But this is what I've got in terms of taking the game notes and every play into account. Of course, Miami went 3 and out right out of the gate, and then A.J. Dillon went to town. He had a burst on the first play of the game, 24 yards. It was actually a nice play by Sheldrick Redwine to track him down, possibly a touchdown-saving tackle. But it didn't matter because BC continued to drive the ball against what is right now the number 2 total defense in the nation in Miami. A.J. Brown to Tommy Sweeney. That was a first down play. Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown. I don't know. I always call him, for some reason, A.J. Brown. There must be an A.J. Brown somewhere in my distant memory. Anthony Brown connected with Tommy Sweeney. We saw a plethora of BC tight ends making big plays downfield, and Tommy Sweeney, of course, is the star of the group, and he caught one to midfield, and then they started pulling out the gadget plays, didn't they? Those gadget plays were beautiful. They weren't anything exotic. They were your typical halfback plays that go back to the quarterback, so throwing to one side of the field, and BC has the capability to pull these off better than most teams because Jeff Smith actually used to be a quarterback, not in high school, but actually at Boston College. Jeff Smith has pulled off 2 of these passes back to the quarterback, Anthony Brown, for big plays. So the first one went all the way down to the 13-yard line, and the Miami defense ranked number 1 in the nation against third down plays, giving up just 21% conversions, gave up a touchdown. Anthony Brown hit Jeff Smith on the slant. Beautifully designed play. How many times did Boston College they snap the ball and they bring motion in the backfield post-snap and really throw it off. And the play fakes, everything was working for Boston College the first 3 drives of the game. DJ Dallas with a nice kickoff return to the BC 45. MarkRoger, not Anthony Brown, MarkRoger with some nice rushing plays throughout the first half. He almost ran for 100 yards in the first half. I think he had like 65. I shouldn't overstate it now that I think about the yardage totals that I saw. But MarkRoger extended many drives for Miami, breaking contain. He knew when he saw a gap right in front of him, and he took off and took advantage. Unfortunately, 2 of the biggest runs that he had for Miami were on that final drive of the first half, and they resulted in no points because Miami gave up the sack that took them out of field goal range and did not give them an opportunity actually to extend what had gotten Miami to the 42-yard line of Boston College. They needed one more play to set up the field goal. BC threw down Rocher for the sack, and that ended the first half basically. But Daryl Langham with an exceptional catch over Hamp Cheevers, who's an exceptional defensive back for Boston College, the 2 best players, or at least the best defensive back for BC, lining up against Daryl Langham on this play. And Langham, just at 6'4", just plucked the ball out of the air, even though Cheevers had his hand on the ball, and it was 7-7. Another Jeff Smith throw on the next series, so they go gadget play to the other side of the field, and he throws one to Levy down to the Miami 19-yard line. More A.J. Dillon. As what stood out to me about A.J. Dillon is it's just not power. It's just not speed. It's just not quickness. It's all of it. So we saw him beat Miami defenders to the corner repeatedly. We saw him, of course, take on tackles, take on would-be tacklers, and sure, he got tackled most of the time, but he dragged the guys 3 and 4 yards. And also on that one remarkable run that he made where it went right and then he cut it back left when they had him trapped behind the line of scrimmage. That was just quick feet in the hole and making guys miss with quick moves and dodging tacklers in the hole. So quickness, speed, and power and explosion for A.J. Dillon. Plus, he sets up his blockers. He might be the best running back in the nation. He's exceptional. Miami's trick play didn't work. DJ Dallas got the ball. It was tipped. The BC defender, I forget who that was, leaped as high as he could in the air and tipped the pass. And therefore, the BC defenders were able to, one in particular, just, I forget who it was, just throw him to the ground. And that was almost an interception. Miami on that particular series tried to convert a 3rd and 8 by throwing a screen pass, setting it up with 2 blockers in front of Travis Homer. He broke a couple tackles, but could not stretch it to the first down, and they had to punt. BC gets the tight end completion again over Shaq Quarterman, another big play in which Shaq was trying to cover the BC tight end who had only caught 4 passes this year, but he caught the pass over Quarterman. Dillon turns the corner consistently again on this drive. They have a 4th and 5 conversion to the tight end down the middle. And keep in mind, this is one to stow away for late in the game. Boston College will not attempt a field goal past the 20-yard line. So a 37-yard field goal is as far as they will go. Lichtenberger, their field goal kicker, strained his quad, I believe, or his hamstring, and cannot kick over 37 yards. So they were just outside the 20-yard line. They went for it on 4th and 5. They converted, but then they had the post-play personal foul that took them back to the 45-yard line. I thought it was a bad spot on the 3rd and 2 play in which A.J. Dillon went for the first down. I thought he had the first down, but anyway, a 4th down converted. The BC offensive line has looked great in this game for the most part. They've got 150. We talked about this in the preview that we did. The BC offensive line might be the best in the ACC. 154 starts out of this offensive line. So then Dillon made that remarkable run that we just talked about to get them in position inside the 5. Sweeney was wide open. This is where Boston College may have hurt themselves, at least momentarily. We'll see what happens in the second half. But up 14-7, they could have made it 21-7. Miami stopped them inside the 5 on a 3rd down play, but actually Tommy Sweeney, their best tight end and receiving threat, was open in the back of the end zone. He was wide open. Anthony Brown missed him. He went for the slant. It was broken up at the goal line. BC kicked the field goal. It was 17-7. Scott Loeffler's offense has performed extremely well for BC in this game, again, against the number 1 3rd down defense in the nation and number 2 overall defense. Statistically, that doesn't mean Miami's got the 2nd best defense in the country. That means statistically, it's the 2nd most effective defense in total yardage. Next series was all Travis Homer and DJ Dallas with Malik Rocher running for first downs again. DJ Dallas on that well-conceived sweep to the right, ran it in off the 2 blocks on the edge, and it was 17-14. And then this did not come back to bite Mark Richt in Miami, but why, oh why, when they get a 3rd down stop around midfield, and it sets up 4th and 3, and Boston College was not going to go for a 4th and 3 conversion at their own 45-yard line. Would Miami would they refuse the penalty, put the Boston College offense back on the field, the offense that had driven them all the way down the field 3 consecutive series, put them back on the field for a 3rd and 8. We're not talking about a 3rd and 28, a 3rd and 8. And I know that's out of Boston College's comfort zone, but it's not as though they're completely inept in the passing game. They do lead the ACC in touchdown passes with 14. Fortunately, Manny Diaz dialed up the blitz. They came after Anthony Brown. He threw the middle screen. It was open. If he would have had just a split second more time to throw that ball, or if he would have lucked out and the ball would have been on the money to Tommy Sweeney underneath with the middle screen, Sweeney would have been running forever. And only because the Miami defense is faster than Sweeney would he probably not have scored a touchdown, but he would have picked up a good 30 yards. Did you guys notice that play? The middle screen, it was a 3rd and 8 play, and BC almost converted, and the kid was wide open, Sweeney. Otherwise, that was a mistake by the coaching staff. That was a mistake by Mark Richt specifically. He makes the calls to refuse the penalty and put BC back on the field at 3rd and 8 instead of making them punt on 4th and 3. Made no sense. So anyway, Miami gets the ball back. They're inside their own 10. Rocher makes the bad throw to D. Wiggins on 4th down or on 3rd down for the conversion. Wiggins was open. Based on other indications of Wiggins being out there dropping passes, maybe he wouldn't have caught the ball anyway, but Rocher threw a horrible pass. And this is the first insight I've taken into Rocher, but let's credit him for a 7-for-8 start. He threw the ball well early, not so much late in the second quarter on the last 2 drives. He reverted to some wobbly, a bad underthrown ball to Jeff Thomas. And where's Jeff Thomas been? They've gotten the ball to Jeff Thomas once for 12 yards. You think Miami speed, athleticism, explosion, BC conservative fundamentals, plotting on offense. There are 5 20-plus yards plays in this game. They all belong to BC. They've got 5 plays of over 20 yards, and Miami has none. So key play on here, 3rd and 4 when Boston College got the ball back, when Sheldrick Redwine, who's had an exceptional first half, the senior from Miami, broke up the pass on Kobe White, which would have converted the first down around the Miami 40. So Miami gets the ball back at their own 15. It looked like they had something going off a couple Malik Rocher scrambles up the middle, got it near the 40-yard line. Then the sack took them out of field goal range and ended the first half. BC 17-14. Let's go to the live chat. And of course, the phone lines are open as well. We're not going to stick around for too long. Of course, we'll want to see the second half here, but the phone lines are open at 860-325-3687. If I can find my phone, I'll have to track it down, but I will take a phone call, 860-325-3687. Otherwise, let's look at the live chat. Canes up or down at halftime, rather, 17-14 against BC. Eight 860-325-3687. I want to remind you that we'll have, of course, instant analysis all day. And I am still working through some family plans and some situations here. I don't know whether I'm going to have a watch party for either the noon game or the 3:30 game, meaning Clemson, Florida State, and or Georgia, Florida. Stay tuned. I will let you know and send out the notifications when I know. Live chat. Let's see what you got. Temmie writes in that he wasn't able to see the first half. Who has the momentum? George, all I asked of Miami this year was to be good, so we have to have an exciting game opening day next year, and they're starting to worry me. Well, they are definitely worrying their own fans after this display in the first half, which isn't an awful display of football, but they're definitely in a dogfight. I picked BC 24-23, and it looks as though we're on target for a very close game. Valdez, Mark Richt should fire himself as offensive coordinator. West End 04, I don't know what's up with CMR's play calling. William Lee, the real game is on ESPN2 watching the 2 Bama quarterback recruits. Okay. Or on FS1 with Minnesota and Indiana. How about that one? I've got it on DVR. Airbrush Royal. BC has some beastly players on their squad, hoping to see Nkosi and some deep balls and quick hitters in the second half. So you bring up a good point. Mark Richt said that Nkosi Perry would play in this game. He's apparently satisfied with Malik Rocher's play in the first half, which I would be for the most part. He's made some bad throws. They weren't critical bad throws, but he's made some bad throws. And what's concerning is that the bad throws are coming more frequently near the end of the first half. So he got off to a hot start. He's done well running the ball, and not just running it, because we know he's an athlete. He can run, but he's choosing at the right times to hold the ball and to run. He's been very opportunistic in running the ball and finding the gaps in the defense. So Malik Rocher could end this game with over 100 yards rushing at this point, the way things are right now. But there was a bad underthrown ball to Jeff Thomas late in the first half. That ball that oh my goodness, Jeff Thomas was 5 yards behind the defense down the right sideline, and he needed to heave that thing toward the pylon, toward the back corner of the end zone, and he let it flail around the 12-yard line. And those two BC defenders, Jeff Thomas was staggering. So it was so badly thrown that Jeff Thomas had to stop, and he staggered back and fell down trying to get back to the football. And the two BC defenders collided, and it didn't matter. After that, BC wasn't going to drive the length of the field at that point, but Miami could have scored a late touchdown that would have really turned momentum and turned the storyline of this game in terms of Miami being behind the entire first half, giving up all those plays on defense, and then coming back to take a halftime lead of 21-17. That would have been something. But Malik Rocher wasn't able to get the ball out toward the back pylon to Jeff Thomas. As long as he keeps that ball in bounds, it's a touchdown to Jeff Thomas. All right. Nickel Samuel. We are in good shape. Good. We are in good shape. Good Canes. West End 04. Florida will not stand a chance next year. Okay. Let's worry about next year. Kingdom Consciousness. Jay Thomas was open. Yes. Malik hesitated. Valdez. Mark Richt is washed up as a play caller. Valdez. Too much talent. Miami's offensive staff is some shit. West End 04, Malik can't throw deep balls, not strong at that. I guess not. Wholesome One, jumping on. It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody. Don't want to discount everyone, of course. Don't want to discount anyone. I just see that the Wholesome One, who, of course, is one of our Miami guests and contributors, you can catch the Wholesome One right here on YouTube, joins us to make a comment here. Mark, I'm a Cane for life, but this is hard to watch, knowing the better quarterback is on the sidelines. Boy, I would like to see N'Kosi Perry in this game as well, because I took in every play of this first half. Of course, you guys know that I'm watching college football all over the country every Saturday, so my attention's divided. So opening night against LSU, yeah, I sat and watched until it was about 33-3, and then my brain got a bit scattered and my attention not focused, but I saw the important plays. I saw all the important plays. I saw some of the Toledo game. I saw them break free in the second half, but I wasn't locked in on the Toledo game. I wasn't even locked in on Florida State. There were other more meaningful games being played at that point, and I checked in on the Florida State-Miami game, and I checked in on it. I actually watched the replay, but this is the first time I've actually just sat since the LSU game, sat and watched every play without my attention being divided. That's the good thing about the Friday night games. And Miami's kicking off to Boston College, of course. Miami got the ball first and went 3 and out before BC scored on 3 consecutive drives. 17-14. I'll stay on here for just a second to address the live chat. We appreciate you guys jumping on. George, thank you. 25 people watching, only 2 likes. Like the video. It's a Miami video. That's what he says. Whatever the video. Please like the videos. It only takes a quick second. Thank you, William, for liking. I suspect that Mark Richt will be fired less than 24 hours after his play calling cost Miami against the Gators. Okay. Anything else from you guys? Gooseman, Chris says those corners for BC can't hold Cager or Langham. 2KJ, right now I'm watching Tua's little brother sling it on ESPN. That would be ESPN2, I believe. William Lee, 2KJ, you watching the Alabama high school game. Okay, we're not watching the Alabama high school game, but thanks for joining us. Atheist for the cause. Miami was overrated from the start of the season like they always are. And you will have to look up Apex Orca 78, the story about the red bandanas. It's a good one, but we're talking football right now. So I jotted that down. The very first thing, of course, it was talked about considerably before the kickoff in particular. And the parents of one Wells Grouther was interviewed during the game. But right now, we've got BC on the field on offense. We've got, of course, Miami on defense, and they're trailing 17-14. Big game in the ACC. Miami at 5-2. They've only got the one loss against Virginia on the road in the ACC, and BC as well at 2-1 in the ACC. And with a chance, it doesn't seem feasible, but Boston College has only lost one game in the ACC, and they have yet to play Clemson. So if they win that game head-to-head and win the rest of their games, they would win the division championship. Of course, we know Miami as well controls its own destiny in the Coastal Division. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. We'll come back for instant analysis after the game. So we're talking Boston College, Miami, as soon as they hit double zeros, or if it's a blowout for whatever reason that I can't imagine right now. If it's a 20-point game with 5 minutes left, we'll jump on early. Otherwise, I'm going to take in the game from the Rose Bowl as well tonight, Utah and UCLA. We'll do post-game on Utah and UCLA with most likely, I believe, Tony Siracusa from Last Word on College Football is going to join us. Big day tomorrow, guys. If you are not going to join the rest of the coverage tonight, big day tomorrow. A watch party coming up at some point. I believe it could be the noon and or the 3:30 games, Clemson, Florida State, followed by Georgia and Florida. And we'll be watching all the games, of course, across the country. 3 big games in particular in the Big Ten Western Division involving all the contenders. All right, Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Please like and, of course, comment. And we will see you guys soon. Unless you guys just want me to keep this thing going. I can do that. If you guys want to watch the game and chat in the chat room, I will leave it up. I will check to see how many people are viewing to see if it's worthwhile. But if you guys want to continue to watch the game and also chat about the game, I will let you go. We'll be back after the game regardless, whether that's just a continued live stream or it's another live stream after Miami, BC. We will wrap it up with instant analysis. They've just gone to break. And I don't even know what happened. So I've got to take notes and concentrate on the second half, but I'm going to leave you guys in the chat room unless you've got any more questions or comments. All right, we've got West End 04. Hey, Mark, when I'm not at work, I'll call in and explain my college playoff scheduling. Okay, that would be good. Martin thinks that N'Kosi Perry will start this half. I think BC's off the field, correct? Did they not just punt? And so we'll see Miami on the field. This is a big game for both teams. They're both 5-2. BC beat Clemson in 2010. All right. 2KJ, leave it up. Why not? 2KJ is producing the show tonight. We do have Miami. This could almost pass as a Boston College helmet. What do you think? This could almost make it, right? We know who it is, but we have the Gators up there for anyone interested. You guys were talking about Florida. I've got 3 more helmets on the way. They didn't come with that shipment. They're on back order. 3 more helmets. So we've got, I believe we've got 14 now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11, 14. 14 helmets. Did you guys see A.J. Dillon in this game? I'm trying to think the times that I've seen A.J. Dillon just watching a Boston College game. So I saw the bowl game that they played against Iowa last year, but that was in the cold and in the snow, so he couldn't really explode. It was one of those plotting games so everyone's watching their footing. Yeah, I can't remember. I'd have to go through A.J. Dillon, but it's been a joy. It's been a pleasure just to watch A.J. Dillon operate in space, turn the corner, take on tacklers. Even when they tackle him, he punishes them. He's really good. Martin, I'm only following the game by social media and here, so I can't watch it live. Clemson alum 98 is guessing Florida State, Georgia, and Texas. It's a good guess. It's a good guess. West End 04. Hey, Mark, get a UAB helmet. I think what I need to do is what Navy Thomas suggested the other day. He said, why don't you have the folks buy the helmets? If they want a helmet, they send it. That's a good idea. Let's do that. All right, let's get back to the game. And again, in the first half, it's inexplicable that Boston College had 5 plays of more than 20 yards, 5 explosive plays, and Miami had 0. Okay, Malik Rozier back in the game. Looks like he's backed up to his own end zone. Yes, he is. So BC punts it deep. Miami backed up inside its own 10. We'll take it from here. I'm going to leave the live stream up. I'll monitor and jump on possibly during the breaks. We will see you after the game. Miami, BC, instant analysis, and we'll get you set for Utah and UCLA as well.